Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Um, right now we are joining in English Club IKP Jakarta Selatan, and right now participant join almost to 21, and I so thank you for Pak Mulyo Basuki because you want to as speaker in our event. And we make the English club because we want to practice English, and especially we want to usually hear about the taxation international or tax international. And so not just this in this forum, and don't be shy if you have the question with our speaker, because this forum is we can speak English. And right now we have the good material talk about the substance over form. Yeah, substance over form is a principle in accounting and taxation that priorities the economic action of substance of a transaction or even over is legal from formality. And what about the tax authority? And that is topic from Mr. Mulyo Basuki. Before we hear material from our speaker, we hear listening Indonesia Raya and Mars IPI. And yeah, we can, let me share our Indonesia Raya and also Mars IPI. Wait a moment.
Indonesia tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu ibuku. Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita berseru, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya, untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia tanah yang mulia, tanah kita yang kaya. Di sanalah aku berdiri untuk selama-lamanya. Indonesia tanah pusaka, sangga kita semuanya. Marilah kita berdoa, Indonesia bahagia. Suburlah tanahnya, suburlah jiwanya, bangsanya, rakyatnya semuanya. Sadarlah hatinya, IKPI yang sehati, IKPI Asosiasi Panas Dunia siap membangun bangsa dengan berasas dan nilai Pancasila, falsafah negara, bersatu padu bekerja sama, mengabdikan karya baktinya demi pembangunan yang merata di seluruh Indonesia. IKPI namamu selalu di hati, IKPI yang sehati, IKPI Asosiasi Panas Dunia siap membangun bangsa dengan berasaskan nilai Pancasila, falsafah negara, bersatu padu bekerja sama, mengabdikan karya baktinya demi pembangunan yang merata di seluruh Indonesia. IKPI jaya selamanya.
Okay, before we hear our speaker, Mr. Mulyo Basuki, our sir, he have the profile first. Wait a moment. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Mulyo Basuki, he is the professional tax partner in leading global tax and consulting firm, and also have the experience almost 30 years experience in taxation, law, accounting, and corporate advisor. And also, Mr. Mulyo Basuki have the expertise in tax audit, objection, appeal, judicial review, PIT, and corporate tax. And so many industry experience, like the global energy company, multinational company, and also international big four firm before you have the experience. So we have the good speaker tonight. And education, Mr. Mulyo Basuki finished the Master of Law in University Indonesia, Bachelor of Law in University of Pancasila, and also Bachelor of Accounting and 11 in 11 Mart University. Mr. Mulyo Basuki have so many license, like the tax course attorney, member of National Bar Association, charter accountant, and also have the certificate tax consultant level C. So we move to Mr. Mulyo Basuki. Hi, Mr. Mulyo.
Hai
How are
Mbak
you
Devi,
tonight? Hi.
very good. Saya quite excited to present the topics tonight. So hopefully my presentation will be beneficial for member of IKPI Jaksel.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Mulyo. So I give time screen and time to you show your material. So thank you.
Okay, Mbak Devi. So material is already shown on the screen ya.
Yeah, I will share our participant ya. So
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam
Mbak Devi,
warahmatullahi
for the
wabarakatuh.
opportunity. So hopefully all members are quite healthy and can enjoy this event until the finish later. So yeah, as this is a English lesson, so even though we talking about tax, but we can have both, we can practice our English. Also, we will also learn the new things in the taxation. So in Indonesia, maybe we call it like while diving, drink water, But maybe this poem is not quite popular in English, so maybe the similar poem is kind of like not poem, The voice word is kill two birds with one stone. Yeah, so that's maybe the message of the today's presentation. So yeah, for those who quite familiar with this topic, so I saw so many kind of the topics that already discussed in the YouTube. So hopefully maybe you well, for those who quite familiar, this is could be like the refreshment. But for those who just learn little about this one, then we can learn together tonight. So and then all information or all presentation is actually on my personal thought, my personal perspective. So it's not bringing my company values on this regard. So yeah, totally my research and my perspective. And also all things in the presentation is kind of like what for the discussion only. Yeah. So hopefully you not use this as a basis of the when you make decision on the project, etc. But yes, while normally when we start the discussion, I also have like a Coltrane or poem, yeah, that maybe we can energize all members. So went for a walk in the evening light with some birds moving in the slow motion. If my slides are not perfectly right, kindly adjust your expectation. So that's one. Okay. Okay, yeah. So we talked about the topics, yeah, substance of the form. Yeah, maybe so many expert or the lecturer use substance of form in many angles, yeah, from the maybe talking about the evidence in the text court, etc. But to me, our topic is mostly on the theoretical basis, on the concept. So I don't go to very detailed regulation, but let's give the understanding what the substance of the form in the particularly like the tax avoidance approach. Yeah. So why we need to have understanding about the substance of the form. So the substance of form actually a simple idea. So that let's start with the discussion. Sometimes what is written in the paper maybe is not similar what actually happened in the business. So once tax office notice about this one, they have to do something, whether they rely on the legal, then this it could be finished, or they may be tempted to recharacterize the substance. So that's actually the topic of this today's event. So whether the tax office have the rights, yeah, this is the right, but how far they can maximize or they can utilize their rights on maybe characterize like the transaction if they say that, yeah, there is something different between what the legal structure and then the economic substance. Okay. So as this is a English club, so I don't expect that I talk all the way until the finish. But if you have the participant think that, oh no, I have the other concern, other perspective, then raise your hand and then we can discuss. So otherwise, maybe the discussion is less in vain here because we are talking, myself and moderator talking all along until the finish of the topic. So yes, please raise hand and then maybe moderator can let you speak or raise a question or discussion or make comments as well. Okay, and then what actually the trigger of this discussion? So yeah, in my view, at the moment, there's a lot of issue basically that rooted coming from the discrepancy between the legal certainty and also economic substance in taxation. And so many awares, for example, if the transaction is something of providing non-interest bearing loan, for example, to the head office or the holding company provide a non-bearing interest loan to the subordinate companies, and then tax office may see that, oh, it's not normal when the company having loan without paying interest, without go through whether what the basic of the taxation. So tax office may say that it's in a normal practice that the company cannot have the loan without any interest. But again, because somehow the legal or the legal structure may not similar with the economic substance, then the tax may come to reassess that kind of transaction. However, in the second point that because of so many company might from this point of view would like to do tax avoidance and obtain the tax benefit, tax jurisdiction or tax authority need kind of like a tools, yeah, or system or scheme to combat the tax avoidance. That's why one of the tools is substance over the form, because somehow the taxpayer have like a wide, strong tax planning, then tax office may need to have like a basic regulation to combat that tax avoidance and base erosion. So having these two bullet point and the tension in the one point, the tax office, the taxpayer maybe believe that legal certainty is quite important, while the tax office see that economic substance is more important than the legal structure or legal position. And also the rise of the substance over the form as a tool against tax avoidance is also now being utilized by the taxpayer all over the world. So then rise like question. So how far that can tax authorities redelineate or looking through the form of transaction without infringing taxpayer legal rights? So it means that in what condition the tax office can use their full power, their full right to recharacterize or re-examine the legal transaction and look through the transaction without like violating the taxpayer right. So because somehow actually taxpayers believe that they already set up the legal transaction, the legal contracts in the good manner, and then the economic may not too far from the legal aspect, but somehow because tax office have the authority, or don't know, maybe they need to do the kind of the adjustment of tax payment. And then we later, based on this topic, we also important to give kind of like a brief mention in Indonesian context. So what kind of articles that may support tax office position on the way tax office using the rights. Okay, so again, the question is when should tax authorities step in, and when should they not interfere? Because the situation are what trigger the use of substance over the form. So until these slides, any question or any point that to be discussed, Bapak Ibu sekalian? And then we move to, so yeah, I hope that my presentation may not that take longer, yeah, maybe maximum 20 or 20 minutes lah, and then hopefully we can have a lot very fruitful discussion to get that. I'm not saying that my view is correct, but because it's quite theoretical and technical. So as we speak, I already checked some of regulation, but I don't know, maybe Bapak Ibu have the different updates, then you can share that your point as well. Okay, so before we continue with the further slides, so let me give you kind of the principle of the substance over the form in this particular topics. So yeah, in principle, substance of the form is whether the transaction is true economic substance, not merely their legal or contractual form. So tax office may say that the most important thing is on the true economic substance. So if that through economic action disregard is different or have the quite significant bias with the legal, then tax office might disregard both the legal position. So this principle is actually rooted from Europe, yeah, UK, France, and then later absorbed into OECD and BEPS framework. If you check in the articles or in the development of the substance of the form is maybe it started off back in 1980 something, yeah, when the judge of the certain tax court in UK decide using the substance of the form principle. So again, we may have a lot of discussion or frequently discuss about the contrast from base interpretation like favoring legal certainty or substance-based interpretation or favoring fairness and neutrality. So if the legal basis is prevail, then yeah, legal certainty is there, so it's good. But if somehow tax office is maximizing the power and using interpretation based on the or favoring fairness on the economic senses, then could be potentially jeopardize the investment climate. So because that's becoming uncertainty on in the view of the taxpayer because they already set up the legal and sign the contract element, but when tax office come, they just disregard that legal position and using the different calculation to pay additional income tax, for example. Okay, that's for me, the principle of the sum sort of the form. So the next slide, we talking about the tax law simple. So let's get back for a moment because in my view, civil tax law and legal civil law is a quite relation. So even though the tax law is a public law, but Professor Sumitro said that the transaction on the taxation is linked to the civil law because the tax obligation is arise from the civil law. For example, when two parties sign the construction agreement, construction service agreement, so the tax object is also related to the final tax of construction. If the contract is something to do with the consultancy, for example, like professional or bookkeeping or auditing, then the impact of the tax is on withholding tax and on VAT. So, but somehow, even though the contract, for example, is in my experience in the profit sharing agreement, but somehow tax office said that, oh no, you actually not in the profit sharing because other party is utilizing the asset and it could be rental services. So even though the agreement is clearly mentioning that the contract is a profit sharing agreement, but because somehow tax office said that the economic substance, economic transaction is related to rental or using the property, and then it could be. So that's the fact that potentially happen even though tax law have actually if you come back to the civil law, agreement is kind of like a loss from the party, so it's quite strong relationship. I actually still searching Bapak Ibu that in what way a tax office can come and then recharacterize the transaction from the taxpayer if the actually both party is not affiliate transaction. So is there any regulation that support that position? Or for example, if the transaction, the taxpayer choosing the A transaction because of the various background, yeah, because of the business plan or because they to do this because required by the local government, etc. And there is also option B that if the tax office choosing the option B, their business might get higher, so the more tax payment. For me, because this is not It's actually the preference of the taxpayer to choose that A, even though maybe the taxation that is set up is maybe provide lower tax or lower income. So there's possibility that tax office will come that no, you should not choose the option A because option B is for you generate more income or more income. But is there any room that the tax office can ask this question or to change the paradigm that the taxpayer should follow this? I don't think so. I believe that the taxpayer have the fully right, yeah, to run the business based on their preference because of the many consideration. Yeah. Okay, that's my curcol. Yeah. So because somehow the tax office believe that if the taxpayer paying less money or less tax, then it could be there is like a maybe tax avoidance or there's something that fishy or fishy that tax office can come to reassess their transaction or their scheme. Okay, but just in brief or in a nutshell, that for me that even though the tax law is basically a public law, but yes, the transaction is coming from the private, and then the private transaction like the contract agreement is it could be considered as law from the party who signed that contract. So it's quite strong documentation, strong paperwork that it should be respected by the parties, also the government. That's my view. Okay, Bapak Ibu, is there any question or comments or maybe Mbak Debbie, you have any kind of like a thought or
Oh, we had the question from Pak Soleh. Evening, Pak Mulyo. In the case we are composing or having multi-interpretation or dispute with tax auditor related the nature of transaction, such as we withholding tax on software development costs or royalty, PIT on guarantee or credit service fee or interest, etc. Or those dispute and or multi-interpretation issue should be just taxable or not. PIT able or not based on subtask or perform, or subtask or perform is merely related to GAR or SAR only in tax law. Great, thanks.
So instead of putting on the chat, can we hear directly from
Yeah,
is
from Mr.
what's the
Soleh, please you
please Pak Soleh.
open your mic, Mr.
Yes.
Soleh.
Thank
Yeah,
you very,
go
thank you very
ahead.
much. Thank you very much, Ibu Debbie and Pak Mulyo.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, this is based on my primitive understanding, maybe, ya, Pak.
Why you say primitive? Don't say it like that.
Yeah, I have several time debate or miss different opinion with tax auditors yang about about the tax exposure, the tax implication about software development cost or royalty. This is totally different. If software development cost, it means service fee, and then this is subject to 0% for tax treaty, and royalty, it will be 10% of royalty. And then how to differentiate between software development cost and royalty is not easy. Yeah. At the same time, the guarantee fee and credit fee, this is related to services. But if interest, this is passive income. So also different tax implication and tax treaty 0% and 10%. Okay, and then in this case, do we have to judge and cover this is related to substance of a form? It means depend on the fact, depend on the documents, the blah 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 blah, or not, and on the other hand, tax auditor say no. Substance of a firm is not like that. Yeah, this is different issue. Substance of a firm is related to GAR and SAR only.
Yeah.
That's what my personal opinion, Pak. May I have your advice, Pak Mulyo? Thank you.
Yeah,
Wow, that's good question ya.
that's good question, Pak. And I don't think that I gave you the good answer. Pak Soleh, yeah, I think that's so maybe that's maybe on the apa ya, on the proving in the tax court or dispute, Pak, ya. So I think we have to maybe we're not trying to address these topics. I agree with you that the substance of the form is maybe related to SAR and GAR at the moment. So if you talking about even though it may be related to evidence, yeah, that's maybe we have to come back to the definition in the tax treaty. What is the service fee and what is royalty? So just focus on that. If maybe we have to do the small research, Pak, what kind of royalty, whether like it is something right to use or this is like just purchase. If you just purchase, then maybe no tax on the withholding tax. But if the kind of right to use, it could be royalty. Yeah, I cannot give you right answer because maybe we have to see the agreement, Pak Soleh, on what the type of services, yeah, to make sure that that's the give the correct answer. But what the topics discussed today, this evening, is agree with you. Yes, we may be related to SAR and GAR. So later maybe we can address this. But thank you for the question. So maybe after the meeting, if you have time, maybe we can go to the coffee shop and then maybe discuss detail about this.
Oh.
Ya kan? About the detail correction, Pak Soleh. Thank you, Pak, for the question. Maybe other question, Bu?
Yeah, maybe another
Question? I have
participant.
question.
Yeah,
Yes,
Pak, please.
please, Pak Sarip Basir, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Mulyo. I just trying to practice my English.
Wow, thank you so much.
So maybe I will make the bahasa and also English for this
It's
question.
okay.
Okay.
We're still learning.
Yeah. We are talking about substance over form, right? So it's mean we are look for the economic substance rather than legal
Yeah.
form, right?
Yeah.
And my question is more clarification. Yeah, just I want to give two example. This is it a substance of a firm or not? This is based on my example.
Okay.
So, for example, my firm has a transaction with the other party, with the supplier. Then supplier provide the invoices is not our firm name. So maybe putting the another name is not our firm name. So let's say my firm name is ABC company, right? But when the supplier give me the invoice, it's not ABC, PT ABC. Okay, I don't mind to pay to this supplier because we get the service or the product from the supplier. So, and then we record also in our accounting. Then when the tax auditor come, they do not consider this is our expense because the name is not our name, company or our company name. You see you understand what I say? Sorry.
I understand.
Yeah,
What
I get your
about
point,
you?
Pak. Yeah.
You get
Yeah,
my
you
point.
get point. Yeah,
Okay.
I get point.
So this is one example, right? So
Yeah.
in this case, in fact, we pay to the supplier, and then we get the service from the supplier. Then we consider this is our expense because we pay and then we get the service from the supplier. But when in some substance,
Halo,
Hello?
Pak.
I mean, in economic substance, yes, we pay and then we get the services from the firm. But for the point of view of the tax officer, it is not expand because the invoice is not written is
Yeah, yeah.
right our firm name. We have the loan from our what we call related
Party.
party.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's no interest. So in fact, there is no interest. And then again, tax officer come and then they said we have to pay interest. Uh, in fact, there is no interest. We don't pay the interest, but the tax officer we say this is need to pay interest. Then and that's a tax object, right? So is it is this
Subs-
substance of a firm or not?
Oh,
Because in
okay.
substance, there is no interest, or there is a person we get the service from the company. So, Pak Mulyo, this is more clarification. Thank you, Pak. Sorry
Thank you
for
Yeah.
my
so
English.
much,
Thank you,
uh,
Pak.
Pak Syarif. You give to sample ya. Yeah, to be honest, I still confused what is Santos overperform in the
Yeah.
our translation. Yeah, I think Pak Mulyo get the point from the Pak Syarif question ya.
Yeah. Yeah, actually maybe our topic is actually far beyond that proof of evidence, Pak, yeah, because yeah, if it could be related because somehow in the YouTube when they talking about substance of the form, it could be on that spirit, but to me because the apa ya when we enter to the tax court dispute, then I saw that many judges still believe on the exact documents, yeah. So I think the tax position is quite strong from the point of view because the name of the company, the name of the invoice is not your company because it could be falsifying it because maybe from the other party or like other person may say that, oh, this is not a legitimate cost because the invoice is not in their name. So I presume, yeah, it's quite tough, yeah, when we have this dispute in the tax court because tax court, I saw the judges is somehow maybe some thinking about on the form, yeah, not in the substance on the whether the services is actually accepted by the office because it's quite difficult to prove, yeah, Pak, because uh, in literally that the invoice name is under not your name. So this is actually quite tough. But I don't know. Maybe we also can go through to the contract to the service. For example, with the like proof of services, if all the documents actually when the supplier send you the invoice, I think the invoice is not the only document. Like there's another document like proof of services, the agreement, or whatever. For example, the one who signed the proof of services that accept by your company is Mr. A, and Mr. A also signed the invoice. Also, so the two names he signed actually the same amount but different name. Then it could be possible we can argue to tax court that yes, actually between the pro service. But again, because the name is different and maybe the report of the reporting on the uh, tax office is on the tax report is different, then yeah, I think it's really hard, yeah, to convince in my point of view, Pak. And then the second, sorry, what the second question later, Mbak, on the
Second question is about the loan.
oh
Different
yeah,
ya, loan from the related party and then interest ya.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So there
later,
is the
yeah.
substances. There
Can we
is
park this? Can we park this in the because I maybe once we get through the other slides, then maybe we can get the indirect answer. Yeah, maybe it's okay, ya, Pak.
okay.
Sorry at that time. Yeah, so we can park a moment and then later but if you can remind me if we should answer that question.
Right.
Okay, ada pertanyaan? Is there any other question or we can continue with other slide?
Pak Mulyo,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah, silakan.
I just want to make sure whether tech office will more put attention on the substance of our form or more to legal form. Yeah, because for the case one, which is about the invoice, in substance, actually, we can prove this is belong to our company, PT ABC. Maybe we have the, if we buy the product, maybe we have the receipt, yeah, and then maybe we also can check to the stock card that we record the stock come and then stock out, and then yeah. So in fact, yes, we buy this product, right? And so this is more substance. So, but they still consider this is it's not your expense, or so it's non-tax deductible. So I just want to make sure. So in point of view of the tax office, they are looking for the more substance or more form. Legal form. Okay.
For the particular case ya Pak, I suppose that the tax office may put on the form, so the form over the substance, because it's quite tough from the text that the invoices, because invoices will trigger so many report after that ya because you cannot report this in the both tax return, because tax return may be refused or reject if the name is not under your name, Pak, ya. So that's my view, yeah. But in the tax code, we can show the documents, yeah. So I think it depends on the judge view, yeah. If the judges is consider the fairness, or they say that actually the service is received, yeah. But the chances could be 50-50 or maybe less than 50-50, because I don't think that judges can have like a very aggressive approach on this regard, because there's clearly the invoice is under your name, under the entity's name. Yeah, but the chance is still there. There's possibility still there, but I don't think, because this is quite clear, yeah, the invoice is under the different name, then. So I don't see any quite clear answer about your question, ya Pak. Because if judges think that openly they have like a aggressive approach, then it could be win the case. But if the tax office is the judges is also have the quite focus on the evidence that maybe proving the names, and that's the quite challenging, yeah.
Okay.
To me, ya Pak, ya.
Yeah.
I don't know
So we can say this is different from the accounting point of view. Yeah, accounting always say substance over form, but for the tax point of view, they can sometimes substance over form, and sometimes can form over substance. Okay,
Yeah, for this regard, I believe could be that things by because the judges might just say, yeah, the invoice, the name is quite difficult to me. Yeah. Okay, on the loan, Pak, yeah, maybe the GR 94, yeah, 94, yeah, on the non-bearing loan is actually loan that quite specific or like specialist, yeah, because actually there is no channeling in the laws that giving the government to issue non-interest bearing loan. So if I check on the non-interest bearing loan is based on the Article 35 on the income tax law, that actually giving that something that not regulated under this law further will be regulated by the government regulation. So based on this channeling or this on the authority or the tax court that government issue this non-interest bearing loan. To me, the tax office having this regulation, so it having, sorry that we go to the jump to the technical, but it's okay. Because the rule is there, so GR 94 on the interest bearing loan is providing the steps of in which the interest is can be non-interest bearing loan with certain criteria, yeah, whether the stock is fully paid or the company is on the loss position and etc. So there is like 4 qualifications. So as long as the 4 qualifications is fulfilled, then basically the non-intervention should be accepted. And I also noticed several tax court decision also adopt this approach. Yeah. So tax office should not jump to the different perspective that in the normal situation, it is not possible that the company obtain loan without paying interest. But because of their specific transaction on the non-interest loan, then tax office have to check this first whether the all criteria are fulfilled. So, but if one is failed, for example, that the stock is not fully paid, then yes, tax office have the right to cancel the non-interest loan transaction. That's my view, Pak. Yeah, maybe you need to check whether all the criteria is fulfilled, and if that's applicable, if that's fulfilled, then you have applicable. Yeah, sorry, you eligible to have a non-interest bearing loan. Okay, Pak Sarif. By the way, thank you for the question. So quite happy that discussion is have a lot of response. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, then we move to other slides. So
Okay.
yeah, okay. This is the GAR or SAR thing. Yeah. So just setback that we discussing is actually related to this one. So what Pak Sarif question previously is maybe related, but not exactly relevant to this discussion because what we say is the GAR or SAR. So GAR is by definition is the tax office have the open tools on the for them to combat anti-avoidance and terus tax avoidance lah ya basically. So for quite sometimes the Indonesia actually doesn't have the GAR rules. Maybe we can check with the other expert that but starting 2021 by establishing the law number 7 or job creation law, this concept of GAR is inserted on the elucidation on the Article 18. So by having said that, if the SAR cannot or insufficient to combat with the anti-avoidance, then tax office can use the GAR. But at the moment, GAR has not only regulated in letter with on the GR 55 year 2002 in Article 32.4, in which the tax office have the right to regulate income if the certain condition apply. So tax office for quite some times Indonesia only adopting SAR. For example, on the DARE, on the transfer pricing, or on the CFC rules, etc. So this is the only anti-avoidance rule that adopted by Indonesia for quite some times, until year 2021 when the laws number 7 on the job creation law is established. So now Indonesia adopting hybrid, using SAR also GAR. That's why maybe on the lately the tax office is quite aggressive to using, because actually there's a channeling laws, even though in the detailed implementation the GAR has not been established. Okay, so that's the background, yeah. But so basically GAR is what else is like general methodology or general system or general SIM that tax office can use broadly, so not specifically. And I believe the country who also adopting, most of the country now adopting GAR, yeah, to make sure that they can combat all the tax avoidance on the rules. So like Australia, for example, or maybe like Singapore. So once the taxpayer using like trying to set up the tax planning that mostly on obtaining tax benefit, yeah, then maybe GAR can come use as a tool from tax office. So GAR could be in the position like say reduction of tax liability, or maybe the taxpayer expect that the deferral of tax, and then why the income tax become exempt, etc. Yeah, that's the rules of. Come back to the previous slide that yeah, there is contrast between the legal certainty and then economic substance, and there also needs because if the tax office doesn't have any rules on the GAR or SAR, then quite dangerous, yeah, because taxpayer maybe set up tax plan aggressively. So because there is no rules or there is no articles in the tax laws that giving the rights for tax office to combat this tax avoidance, then it could be it's not beneficial for the country or the tax revenue. However, the question now is how far the tax office should go on the applying this GAR, because somehow the tax using the GAR very abruptly, very without any control, that quite dangerous, because it's also impact to the investment climate, yeah. Because if the tax office is too aggressive using a GAR, then there is no foreign investment coming, because they're afraid that their business could have the problems with future because of the tax planning is not being accepted by the tax office. Okay, that's the understanding of GAR and SAR, Bapak Ibu. Now, yeah, this is the application of the substantive form. So if the specific anti-avoidance is not being addressed, cannot be addressed properly on insufficient from tax point of view, and SAR may not cover new tax complex, because somehow the taxpayer is aggressive, yeah, when they set up the tax planning, and tax office cannot have the limitation to combat with this avoidance, then there's a gap. So that's why, so a substance of the form actually part of the GAR. So if you check later on and do the research, that GAR could be in the on the form, like maybe familiar with the proposed test, business proposed test, and substance of the form. So on this tax avoidance concept, the SOF actually part of the GAR later on. But the problem right now, because GAR is already mentioning in the GR 55, Article 32.4, but further regulation by Ministry of Finance, what actually GAR in Indonesia is not quite clear at the moment. So this is what I'm afraid that because of absence of the regulation, there's possibility that tax office might use, I don't know, maybe silent approach to make sure that they using this approach. Because in my view, before they applying,
Sorry.
because before applying the substantive reform or JAR, they have to check whether the SARs can be implemented and can be tested. So later on when Bapak you have the dispute, so we have to, if related to this one, yeah, if the tax office just come back, just come and then directly do the assessment using substance of the form, then we have to check based on the GR55 whether they do check on the SAR first, and then if any gaps, then you can move to GAR, yeah. So they should not, the tax office should not jump to the directly to GAR, yeah, because they have to check first in the SAR level. If the SAR is cannot be checked and cannot be tested, and tax office think that the SAR is not sufficient or insufficient, then they can move to the GAR. So there's also step the tax office can go to the GAR, while GAR is part of the GAR is substance of the form. I'm sorry if that a little bit complicated, yeah, Mbak Debbie and audience, but basically the
Okay.
Indonesia quite sometimes only using SAR, but now starting 2001 they apply GAR, but the problem at the moment is the GAR is having no specific implementation. What type of GAR, what the steps, because actually a lot of procedure, yeah, to apply the GAR. For example, the tax office is really abuse that legal form, or they so yeah, basically GAR should not preclude, yeah, the tax planning from taxpayer. So tax planning should be regarded as it should be respected as a part of the free of choice, yeah, because somehow the taxpayers have the preference on the doing business like a model A, model B, or C. So there's no way that, or there's no kind of room that the tax office dictate the taxpayer to do the business. So that's my view. Okay, that's the concept, yeah. So I'm sorry to maybe not quite clear on the opening, but basically what we are discussing is on this part, yeah, Pak, yeah. So, but it's open, yeah, but just in case the participant also raise question on the practical or in the session, then maybe we can share. Not always me to answer, yeah. Maybe Mbak Debbie as a consultant also can provide the response and comment. Other also, if they have any kind of verdict from tax court, maybe we can share as well about these topics. Okay, the next slide, I already speak about already 45, 46 minutes, ya, Mbak.
It's okay.
What time, Mbak, we can finish? Oh,
We can finish sometime 9 p.m.
wah.
Sometime, yeah. But I looking Mr. Rudy Chandra, he raised hand. Maybe
Okay, yes, please, maybe before we move to this slide. Yes, let's go ahead, Pak. Siapa, Pak? Chandra?
Pak Rudy Chandra have
Yeah.
the Pak Rudy, you have the raised hand. I looking that. No. You have the question? No, maybe we can. Yeah. Okay,
Hello?
Pak Rudy, go
Hello?
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Ko. Yeah, I can hear your voice.
No.
Hello.
Yeah, just hello. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Mulyo.
Yeah.
I think I heard a lot about your name many times. Okay, good. So for this, maybe not just me, maybe most of participants here. This is
Yeah.
talking about the concept, but maybe can you provide maybe some example, just one or two transactions that which one is subsumed on the form? I think that's my first question. Comment or question. Maybe can you give more examples on it? Because if I see the slide, there's no example on the case lah. Maybe one or two case. Yeah, for us to give like a big picture. What
Okay.
is this? The dispute between substance and non-form. And second, I just want to comment what Pak Saiful, yes, Pak Saiful, the one previous question, the one who asked
Yeah.
question, that he said that sometimes the tax office or the tax court can be to substance, sometimes prioritize form. But I remember This is I forget who told me like this. Someone asked me, what is so in the text, which one is preferred? Is it substance of a form or form of a substance? I said both. In the Indonesian English is substance, form. What do you mean both? What I mean is if there is any difference between substance and form, text often we use that difference to benefit them to tax you more. So but the problem with the current world situation is many times it's different, the substance and the form. Even if there is a new accounting standard, use accounting. When I learn accounting, my bachelor's from accounting, when I learn accounting, it's always substance of a form. But now it seems that accounting standard also adopt the form, also prioritize the form. So I don't know. This is how we juggle between substance and between form. It's it's the juggling between that. If there is any difference, how can we explain to the tax authority? That's the art. I don't think any AI can answer that. Sorry, talking about AI.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Pak. Thank you. That's all my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak
Go.
Rudi. So let me respond ya, Bu Debbie ya.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Pak Rudi. Yeah, so that give you one example, Pak. Yeah, that's I experiencing myself. Yeah, so actually the company, actually one of the mall business. Yeah, they to support the traffic, so they set up like a food court. So and the company invite the tenant to do the business. So because of this is like a small enterprise, so is it not possible that they will engage in the rental expense because it's quite difficult to pay like fixed fee. So they engage with the profit sharing. So with that profit, they share. So if the transaction maybe the performance is not that good, so they will
Not pay.
so the owner will stop the agreement maybe like for 3 months, then
Oh.
they cannot continue the business. So this is the approach. So then tax office come to see that this is not profit sharing because profit sharing is not there's no VAT, there's no because they pay like development tax on the local tax, and there's no withholding tax. But tax office said that no, because the tenant is using your asset, enjoy your property, then it should be under the rental agreement. So you have to pay PET and you pay the withholding tax. So the case actually now in the tax court level. But I have the strong position that because it's different, legal, the rental expense and the rental and the profit sharing scheme is different. There's no, I quote like so many items that make that's different. But the point is that, so even though you have the quite strong legals, the proof, the signing, the name of the agreement is profit sharing agreement, but the tax office have the different opinion, and then I agree with Pak Rudi because somehow, because in the past the substance is higher than form, the substance is benefit from the taxpayer, then you maximize this from. But if you come back to the theory at the time, because they should not, the tax office should make like a steps before jump to the conclusion that they override the legal aspect. They have to do kind of tax, but we do not see that step. That's the example, Pak. There is also kind of the other example I remember when maybe I was working at the previous companies. So the company running the two type of transaction, they do local and they also export. In the local, they obtain kind of like a 35% of the gross margin, while they export, they only obtain like 6% net income. The tax office said, no, you actually make the tax benefit because you pay less on your export. But that at the time we proved that there is no kind of like avoiding tax because export and local have the different customer, the different kind of the expense involved because when you sell local, you also render like rental transportation costs, the warehouse cost. So maybe the net profit of the local transaction could be less than 6%, for example. Then, well, when you import, so when you export, there is no like credit cost, there's no warehouse cost, because all the things is borne by the customer. So while providing this one, then at the time judges was agreed that okay, actually there is no kind of the tax avoidance, so that our appeal is accepted. So this is kind of the various part. I might not give the other example, but I see a lot of transaction that tax office at that time maybe consider that the substance of the form is on their side. But come back to Pak Sarif, because somehow if the form of substance is benefit to them, they may choose that one as well. So yeah, this is the one that the taxpayer could be hurdles gitu ya. Memang that's the fact that but yeah, maybe dispute is hard. Maybe let Bu Debbie handle this dispute ya. Maybe bring this issue to the consultant, so that's why. So yeah,
Yes, newbie.
well, yeah, I agree, but yeah, that's why if I just remember that when we have the tax dispute, it's not because our position is we are not be wrong doing, but somehow because the interpretation is different. The tax office might have the aggressive approach, then they maybe pick the one that maybe impact to the revenue. So yeah, I agree that somehow the tax office pick the form over the substance, but somehow the substance over the form. But at the time we are in the position on these topics is mostly whether in a way that the tax office using the substance over the form, but yeah. Maybe other discussion later on we pick the title that form over substance. Okay, any other further comments, Pak Rudy or?
I think that's enough for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Proceed.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I was about to finish my slide. So this is the Indonesia perspective. So as start, we have like Article 10 that empower DGP to adjust transaction. So the article is on the exchange. So if the exchange is between non-affiliated, then the actual price is considered as the price. But if the transaction between two parties, then the transactions have to use the market value. So if the taxpayer still using the price that not arm's length, then the taxpayer come and then recalculate the price. On the other example is Article 18.3, the tax office allows to reallocate the income if the transaction is happened between two parties, two affiliate companies. This is the one that I mentioned before in the previous slides, that allegation Article 18 of income tax, in which the government authority can using the substance of the form. So I think even though the term is substance of the form, but implicitly this is talking about GAR ya, in the quite subtle gitu ya. But in Article 32.4, this subtle approach of the GAR is being put it as a norm ya. So actually kind of the challenge or research that, to me, I believe that the elucidation should not be used as a norm in the below regulation, yeah. For example, in the GR, because GR suddenly the GR 55 is actually the implementation of the income tax law. They put another new norm in the regulation on the applying the principle of economic substance. I don't see this is the correct term, yeah, because somehow if the GR using norm, you have to have the channeling to the laws, but laws actually in the articles is mostly covering the SAR, yeah, but suddenly the GR is appear on the GR 55. But this is possible because somehow maybe they refer to the article 0.41 that put general, as long as you have any potential income, then you have to pay tax. That's my guessing, yeah, because the GR, if they refer to because the spirit of the wording is similar, yeah, in the article 32.1, if I'm not mistaken, is always similar with the elucidation of article. But again, this discussion may not relevant when you have the dispute in tax court, because my view that the tax court is only concerned about both applicable laws. If the frequently tax judges say that if you think that the regulations is not correct, the hierarchy is not fully complied, then it's not here you dispute the situation, but you can go to the Supreme Court, yeah. But so the tax court, my view is only concern what the applicable regulation that the basis of the dispute. So they do not quite buy if if we bring, oh, this regulation actually not aligned with the higher regulation, or this is not have the channeling to the law. That's the one, not the topic that I heard. Even though maybe some of the judges think progressively, but I have the experience that tax office is they only decide based on the applicable or available regulation. So that's actually almost finished that we come to the conclusion, ya Bu Dewi.
Okay.
So to me, yeah, there's a lot of case between discrepancy between legal practice, legal structure, and the economic substance. But the challenge is not whether to apply or not, because it should be because the tax office have rules, so they can use the application of the substance of the form. But yeah, my recommendation is the right should be not used abruptly and not used very aggressively, but also consider the legal aspect. So if the tax office have the legal in place, the economic substance is actually not having maximizing the tax benefit, so they design based on the pure commercial, then there should not be any re-examination or recharacterization from the tax office. So otherwise the impact to the investment climate. So yeah, to me as a tax, as a working with tax, that once you have the dispute on the substance of the form, then please check whether the tax office already do the steps of moving to direct to the jar of substance form. So otherwise, we can say that the tax office actually not fully comply with the regulation, because if the tax office assess based on the substance form, they have to do several steps, yeah, to make sure that the SAR is already check, or whether the tax office really abuse the tax, or that's the yes, should be like a business purpose tax. We have to make sure that we design this one is not because of the avoiding tax, but really on the business commercial purposes. Yeah, there's no kind of intention that the designing of the tax planning is merely on avoiding tax. That is my presentation. Sorry if not quite systematically, but this is kind of because for me it's a little bit tough, yeah, discussing about this concept, because somehow, even though I try to discuss in the concept level, but so maybe prefer person maybe or participant say that I have the real case that maybe need to confirm whether this is relevant to the substance of the form or forms of the substance. Hopefully we can still have discussion, yeah, Mbak Devi. Okay, I turn to
Okay.
you. So please, if you have any other Q&A session.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Mulyo Basuki. We have the raise hand. One participant, his company name, yeah. case PT Prime Service International. Halo, Miss or Mister? You have, if participant have the question, please open mic or can chat room.
Mbak Devi,
Ya,
boleh
Pak
nambah
Sarip.
lagi?
Ya, go ahead,
Ya.
Pak. If you have the question,
Ya.
we can
Pak,
practice our English, Pak.
yeah, thank you. Just to make sure, Pak Mulyo, ya, about the example GAR and SAR. GAR and SAR is more about a related party transaction or more than a related party transaction, because you mentioned about the transaction between one company with other company which has what we call is related party. So this is, so GAR and SAR is more related party or more than related party? This is the first question. And the second question, if I'm not wrong, in your slide mentioned about Article 18 income tax, mentioned that government prevent to anti apa tadi ya? Anti apa tadi? Oke.
Anti avoidance, Pak, ya.
Anti ya, tax avoidance ya, anti avoidance by substance over, by applying substance over form, substance over form, right? Nah, so the question is, sometimes substance over substance is interpretation, right? So it's been can be subjective, yeah, for one person and other person. So so if rely on substance over the form, then maybe they have the potential for dispute because the interpretation. But on the other hand, if we use the form as the base, so form is also in our practice. Sometimes the form is fictitious. Yeah, some person can make the fictitious invoice in fictitious contract and so on. So again, if we based on the substance, then maybe can be multi interpretation. So this is can be dispute. I guess make the dispute between tax authority and taxpayer. Thank you, Pak.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sarip.
Yeah, let me answer ya, Mbak Devi ya.
Yeah, go ahead, Pak.
Yeah, so SAR Edgar is not always for tax related party transaction, Pak. This is, I think, the key concept, yeah. So this, for example, SAR also discussing about the DER, yeah, debt equity ratio, the proportion of like loan and equity. This is not always tax on the related party, Pak. So maybe if you go to the GR 55 di artikel apa ini berapa? Artikel 32 ya, point 2 itu A and the F is only related, but the other like G and H is not affiliate company. So not always the related party. But if they mentioning related party, then yeah, like CFC rules may not be have the related party because somehow if the combination of the taxpayer that may be having more than 50%, then the tax office can define when the dividend should be reported or something like that. So, but yes, in Article 18.3 is clearly mentioning about the affiliate company, and then affiliate company have the several definition with the based on the relation on the apa ya, family or based on the control or based on the ownership. So there's type of variation. So yes, to answer that question, also based on the affiliate transaction. On the sequencing, I presume that the form should be as the basis, ya Pak. So the form should be the important part. So if I come back to my previous slide about the legal documents, if the agreement is construction services, then all should be aligned. Yeah, that we dealing with the construction company. There is like a receipt of the services, and the proof the taxation is also mentioned that this is so. It's not fair if, for example, the transaction is construction services, but they provide like maybe what kind of other like consulting, sorry, and like bookkeeping transaction. So there should be also a form I have to complete it first. So even though the form is already fulfilled, is that it's not guaranteed the tax office will accept. But at least the form has to be fulfilled by as the first priority. Because but even though the form is uh, aligned, completed, but it doesn't guarantee that the tax office may use this as a basis of the collection. But if the form itself is not aligned, like, for example, like your case before that, okay, the transaction is between A and B, but invoice is the name of C, then that's also ruin the concept of the form itself. So yes, I'm not advising, but my suggestion is your form of the transaction should be put in place at first. That's I think the first condition that's why that you have no significant problem in the future. The contract should be aligned with the good receipt or service receipt, the invoice, what the reporting and the tax report, like the tax return, as the basis. So the basic things is only relevant to the forms, Pak. Kira-kira itu ya, mungkin.
You have the comment, Pak Sarip?
Thank you Pak Mulyo, terima kasih
Ya,
Pak.
ya.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Okay, participant, any have question to Pak Mulyo? Okay.
Yeah, so
Huh?
just to add the point, Pak, ya, while you maybe considering the question. So even though GAR is actually have the quite strong, the tax office have the strong right, but the GAR should not preclude, yeah, I repeat that, should not preclude, should not reduce the right from the taxpayer to set up the tax planning. So tax planning should be, if tax planning is performed by good manner based on the commercial judgment, then there should not, yeah, there should not the possibility the tax office came and then recharacterize. So yeah, just make sure that when you preparing tax planning, it's not too aggressive and just to take the tax benefit. So once the tax office notice that, oh, you prepare this scheme, this structure only for the tax benefit, then there's possibility the tax office will come to assess and then recalculate the income. That's the message that I can share with participant.
Thank you.
Masih ada ya?
Okay, participant, any question to Pak Mulyo? Okay, no. Okay. Okay. So thank you, Pak Mulyo. You can join our event English Club tonight. Before we have the good insight about the substance of our form, and we get new new insight about the form offer the substance and from I get the new words maybe GAR and SAR, General Anti Avoidance Rule. static question anti-avoidance rule, SARS. That is maybe I will learning again about the sentence over form and from over the sentence. Before the close our English club, maybe Mr. Sahata want to give the closing statement. Pak Sahata, halo Pak. Halo. Okay, maybe Pak Sahata cannot join because he have the study. And yeah, I say thank you to all participants, and so thank you with the Pak Mulyo. You share your experience and your there is the new words from me, yeah, to be honest, about the sentence of perform, and I hope you can join in the future, Pak. Jangan kapok ya. And also say thank you for our participant and join tonight, and see you again. I just said apologize if I have the wrong mistakes. And happy weekend. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Bu. Just in case if you any input, Bu, ya, for the participant, any input for the better presentation, just share the
Okay.